Good morning. It's the Call Flo Radio Show, and you're on the air.
Well, good morning, and welcome to the Call Flo Radio Show. It is your Thursday, this June the 12th. I'm Chris Wood, and we want to request that you hold off on your calls for the first portion of the show because we do have a very special guest in our Francis E. Wood studios, but he's no stranger to the microphone. We've got Farmville Mayor Brian Vincent with us, and good morning, Brian.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. We're making it through. We just had our meeting last night and finalized the budget, so things are moving forward.
I know that's a big weight off of your shoulders.
It is. My wife reminded me in lieu of something else. She was like, sometimes you lose the forest for the trees because I'll get so focused on something like that I don't see things outside happening.
I can hear Harriet telling you that right now, knowing how close to nature she and her family is. So anyway, well, that's it's just one of those things that that it's your job and you have to get it done right.
That's right. Yeah, you got to try to, for sure.
All right. Okay. So you had a meeting this past week?
We had a meeting last night, yes, ma'am. And I'll go back actually to our work session last week as a recap because there was kind of a little nugget. It'll hit the paper, I think, today. I think I saw they were publishing an article in relation to this. At the time, what council was aware of was the fact that we had to make an amendment to a conditional use permit that had to do with the ICA facility here in town.
Yes.
So the town is no longer the intergovernmental intermediary for that business. Now it is still in Farmville, and so it still does pay taxes to the town of Farmville. But we're no longer the intermediary. But back in 2007, when the original contract was written with the town, there was some stipulation about what level detainees could be housed in the detention facility. And then in 2011, they came back to council asking for it to be amended. And that council in 2011 did amend the language to drop this level 1 detainee designation and just have it say adult immigration detainees. And so the language was changed in the ordinance, but the corresponding language was never apparently changed in the conditional use permit, which went with it. And so that was kind of an administrative oversight there. And so the facility came to the town to request documentation about those things because they were seeking refinancing. Or that's what they said. And so when the town sent the documentation, ICE facility looked at it and said, wait, this is still the language from 2007. It's supposed to be the language from 2011 in this conditional use permit. So we, as this current day council, had to then go back and fix that administrative error during the work session. And so that happened. And then what you'll see today, which I was, I don't, if it's not my business, it's not my business. I don't dive into it. But what you'll see today is the ICE facility was sold from who's been its private owner since 2008 to now. It was just sold to a new group that's a nationwide private detention center business. I think they sold it for $67 million. That's not money that goes to any locality. Like Prince Edward County is now the current intermediary government partner there. They don't see that money. They just continue with their normal contract that they have.
Where does the money go?
It goes to that private enterprise who own that. I mean, it's like a private business.
Right.
Yeah. So that news will hit the paper. And of course, for us at our work session, it generated the class. Well, what I would say, and I'm not being demeaning in any way, but it speaks to how fast untruths can travel on the internet.
Of course.
Which is somebody had posted the town's voting to expand the ICE facility. And it just spread like wildfire online. And then all these people wrote in and some people came in. And it was like, that's not what this is. This is an administrative fix for an error that was made in 2011. And so it's just things travel so fast on the internet. Always make sure you read and check up on things you see there, because not always what you read there is true.
Right.
So with that said, that clears that up. That was kind of a big little chunk in the work session that had, and I wanted to clarify it because there was some misunderstanding about what it was. So then we had our meeting last night, which was relatively quick for the most part as far as our in-public agenda of business. I kicked off the meeting. Uncharacteristically, I don't often take main control of the mic. I tend to just let business flow and add my 2 cents here and there. But occasionally I'm pushed to speak. And so I spoke a little bit about hyper-partisan ideology seeping into downtown, into local politics. And some of that was driven by things that are happening locally, and some of that was driven by the fact that we had just hosted the Small Towns Conference here in Farmville the previous week.
How did that go?
It was great. It was so much fun. And so we had Virginia Municipal League Small Town Conference. It's the second year it's happened. We hosted it here. Longwood helped us, and we did a lot of the programming over in Upchurch. And then we had a Wine Oak Catbird rooftop bar reception with a bunch of the folks who were there. So you had about 100 or so local elected officials and government professionals here from small towns all across Virginia. And you had a day and a half of programming. And so it was great. And for me, it's always an awesome opportunity to be in a room with peers and to hear about the challenges and opportunities that we all face. You know, a lot of times you can feel like you're in your own little box and that your problems are your own, and like, is something wrong with us?
Right.
And you get in that room and you realize, wait, everybody's having the same problems.
Yeah, you're not alone.
Right, yeah. And so there's strength in that, and the ability to walk through how you address those challenges and where you find the opportunities.
Right.
And so it's hugely beneficial, and I thank them. And I actually got an email last night from the director of the VML saying 2 of the main staff members, one had already brought his wife to Farmville and they just spent a few days here, and then another one is bringing his wife here this weekend to spend some days. And it's like, so we showed what Farmville's all about, and people received it well and wanted to get more of it.
All right. Well, I'm sorry I drug you off subject there for a little bit,
problem.
But anyway.
But in that conversation with all these elected officials from across the Commonwealth, you realize that the filtering down of partisan ideology into local politics is impacting effective governance at the local level. Like, we see it nationally, right? Like, you see how it stalemates stuff, it gets dysfunctional, it creates chaos, and that's starting to filter down through state to local. And you're starting to see it at the local level, where localities are ending up with like diminished services. They're ending up with like a lot of deferred maintenance that puts them way far in debt, because the dysfunction that sort of partisan ideological stringency creates becomes a roadblock to
and
effective management.
It takes a lot of energy.
It takes all the energy.
It takes a lot of the positive energy away from the subject or the issue.
Yeah, here at the local government level specifically, I mean, we are the very touchstone of this republic, this democracy to the American citizens.
Absolutely.
So we have to be the most transparent, the most effective in providing services. And we're here to serve the people, not an ideology.
Right.
And when people get that confused, things often go awry at the local level. I mean, we see it go awry at the national level, but that's a different animal. But at our level, and so I had a little thing at the beginning of that, largely facilitated once by some people trying to take my stance out of context, which always gets me going, because I've been pretty firm. I ran to be mayor on a platform of standing independently, being nonpartisan, and trying to be a firewall to that sort of thing entering local politics. So my position has not changed, and it remains a mission for me. Anyway, so we started off kind of like with that little standpoint, and then we moved into our normal stuff. We had One, an update from Jen Karn from Longwood about the incoming freshman class. They have a very large incoming freshman class.
Oh, they do?
The
Very
biggest since
good.
before COVID.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
good news. The university injects a lot of vitality into the town, and I love the circulating creativity that we get. So that's exciting news for them. We thank them again for helping host the Small Towns Conference. And then we got into our old business, which was the big one, which was approving the budget and approving the 5-year capital improvements plan. And so we've walked through the whole budget process for starting in January. Department heads start coming to the town manager, presenting what they want. The cuts and the finagling starts happening. We had all the debates about tax rates and rates and all these things, and passed the budget last night.
Very good.
So passed on a majority vote of 5-2, and then the capital improvements plan passed on a vote of 7-0. The two who did not vote for the budget didn't express any opinion on why. Yeah,
okay.
and so I know that for us, it was a tough budget year, and once again, being at the Small Towns Conference, you realize that we were not alone in that as well, that everybody in that room had a tough budget year. There's localities like Radford who raised every tax and every rate they have on their books this year because people are trying to close gaps that are, and once again, I'm not an ideologue, so I'm not placing blame. Oftentimes, if one section of your government cuts taxes, there's another section that doesn't. And so if the federal government makes cuts, oftentimes it has to get picked up somewhere.
Yeah,
or
that's
services
right.
suffer. If you have federal funding that funds certain things and that funding goes away, you got to find a way to keep that service going. For us, I think the biggest piece that people will tap into is the expansion of the fire department. And that was a big discussion at the Small Towns Conference. Many towns and counties trying to find the way to transition from volunteer to paid. And that is big and especially in rural areas, but it's big across the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
And we've been one of the ones who's kind of successfully incrementally done it. We've done each budget year a new position, a new firefighter, until we could get to a full-time firehouse, and then now you got to house them and give them the right equipment and the right space to do what they do.
Well, they should be they should have some compensation for the job.
It's just harder nowadays because people just don't volunteer the same way they used to.
Yeah.
Like there's a famous book, Bowling Alone, by Robert Putnam, and it just talks about how civically we're not as engaged, right? Like whether it's the advent of the internet or it's two income households, or
it could have been COVID as well.
Yeah,
I'm sure that
definitely
played a part
People
in
got
it.
used to being siloed out, and so volunteerism's down, and these services, you have to have them. I mean, it's often one of those things where you don't realize how good you have it
Until it's gone.
Until something bad happens and you don't.
Right.
And, it's like, and then people are like, why wasn't this there?
Yeah.
And so, you look at like a city like Richmond, it's like, we knock on wood, we're very thankful that we have a good, robust, functioning water system.
Oh yeah. Every time I turn on the news, it's all about the water system and what's going on with that.
So
and everybody's trying to put the blame on somebody else, which is
absolutely. In a town like us, you don't often wake up in the morning and turn on your faucet and go, "Gosh darn, I'm so happy this water's pumping," because you expect it to.
Yeah.
But there are localities who have deferred maintenance enough to where, boom, now you're being impacted. And once that happens,
it's an
then
inconvenience.
It's on your radar.
That's right. It certainly is. You have to boil your water.
That's it. So we got through that, and then we did the compensation plan update. That was mainly because our finance director, Miss Julie Moore, who's awesome, is now remaining finance director, but she is also assuming the assistant deputy town manager role. So it becomes a succession thing and a thing of making sure people are in the right places, and she is a rising star. She just finished her master's in public administration.
Fantastic.
Everybody values the work she does at the finance office. Her and our town manager, Scott Davis, work really well together. And so that was the only change there.
Good. Okay.
Yeah. And then we had a closed session about town manager and town clerk performance evaluations. So July is when we're supposed to start performance evaluations for those two individuals. So we started that process. I wanted to expand it a little bit this year and have 3 closed session meetings around those conversations, because I felt there were some things that needed to be hashed out.
How does that work as far as
evaluation?
Evaluation, yeah.
So there's typically you have a form that you fill out as a council member, and it's it's a numerical rating based off of different parameters like interpersonal relations, intergovernmental relations, efficiency, and leadership, and vision, and financial responsibility, and all that stuff. And then it gets quantified and summarized. And there's comment sections too, so you can write comments about things. And then there's a narrative evaluation form that discusses, successes and disappointments from the previous year, areas of improvement. And so the idea is like kind of each fiscal year, and we tend to do it with our biannual retreat. We'll set a bunch of goals for the town manager and objectives. And so then each year you're kind of evaluating whether or not those objectives are being met, et cetera.
I see. Okay.
And so this year, council, and we've talked about it before, has just wanted to see if maybe we could shift the way we do it a little bit, because they want a little more narrative and a little bit less numerical.
Yeah, it sounds a little dry.
Yeah.
I mean,
They typically are. I was joking because I fill out one for the Department of Wildlife Resources, and it's like, 12 pages. Ours here for the town manager is about 6. So we closed sessions are closed sessions. I'm not. Those are. You're not supposed to breach that contract there, so I won't get too far into it.
No, let's not get into it.
But it's a process, and we'll evaluate those 2 members and then move on. But we did come out of that we had also gone in under the need to discuss appointments to the Planning Commission. And so when we came out, we reappointed Cameron Patterson, Abigail O'Connor, and Patrick Crute to the Planning Commission. They've already been serving. They were reappointed. Gentleman Jerry Davenport, who's been on the Planning Commission, is dropping off the board, so we got to find somebody to fill that spot. And then we reappointed Miss Robin Smith to the Library Board. So those are just some housekeeping items, making sure those reappointments are made. And that was largely the bulk of the evening. We had some updates from the town manager on paving starting again. We're in our cyclical cycle of paving, so people will see it. I know Sid over there at Roche is probably cursing us because they're paving right through in front of his shop, which I know makes it difficult.
As far as parking and stuff like that.
And council is really pressed on town administration to make sure they try and be very what's the word I'm missing? It's so early. I'm missing the word. But to give a good heads up to businesses if paving is going to be coming their way, just to let them know so that they can start to manage their traffic flow. Forewarn, exactly.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to impact people's business too much.
Right.
But we do have to come through and pave.
Right.
So, getting all that done, and some of the sidewalk and maintenance and stuff, which has been a big thing for council. Making sure all the weeding and stuff.
What about the water park? Is that open?
Water park's open and has been open since Memorial Day. And our council member Dan Dwyer commented last night, if you're feeling down or feeling a little stressed, just go drive by there and look at all the kids just having a blast.
A blast, yeah.
And so, we're still in the process. Like, we'll have bathrooms and changing rooms being built. That's this fiscal year. And so there'll be continual improvements out there, making that a little nicer. But it's a great joy to see like just for me, it's one of those wins. It's a
win-win
It's
situation.
an easy
basically.
win, and it's a fun
Yeah.
win because it's a cross section of our town. You look out there and you see this huge cross section of town out there, people smiling, having fun,
Yeah.
and that makes me happy.
Yeah. Well, that's why wouldn't it? I mean,
Right,
it's just one of those great things.
Too often.
Yeah, the town of Farmville is providing for the community, and I think that's great.
Yes, we are. And that's one of the things, it's unique in a way to Farmville sometimes. And I talk about it when I do these national and statewide conferences because people...
Well, it gets the kids outdoors.
It does.
It
does.
And it gets them to relate with their parents,
Yeah.
Mom and dad,
Absolutely.
brother, sister, all that kind of stuff too. So it's good.
It is
It's a good thing.
Yeah, and people often say, "Oh, you guys do so much as a small town," but in reality, we say we may have 7,600 people population here in Farmville, but we truly draw from a area county radius.
Oh,
that
yes, we're
equates
definitely
like
a hub.
80,000 people, right? So
A hub,
you
yes.
build something like that splash pad, and it's like, okay, you could make it the size that fits the town, so it's just the town, but that's not all who's coming.
Yeah.
We're bringing kids from all the surrounding
Well,
counties.
it's just like the library.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
built that several years ago with the intent that it would they would finally
Draw
fill
in.
it up with books,
Yeah.
and now they're full.
Yeah, absolutely.
So-
And so that's what makes us the hub, right? Because you can come do these things and then go visit our restaurants and
Right.
all that, and so yeah,
Okay.
it's a good place to
is.
visit, good place to live, and as we say, a vibrant place to live, work, and recreate.
All right, that sounds wonderful. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming to fill us in on what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
And give us a number that they can call, or you do have a website.
Yeah. The town of Farmville website's there, and it's a little known fact to some people. People are often surprised. If you go to the town of Farmville website, you will be able to find phone numbers for all the different departments. Like if you need to call Public Works, if you need to call the police
Right.
department, there's a non-emergency number for the police department, etc. People are often surprised. The phone number listed for me is my cell phone.
Very good.
So I am extremely accessible. Oftentimes people will call my phone and I'll answer and is this the mayor? And I'm like, yes, sure is. And they're shocked that there's just this direct line to my cell phone. But I got a text last night from a business leader in town who said, can we meet? I want to talk about some stuff if that interests you. And I said, I'm always interested in talking to citizens and business leaders. Always.
Always.
Yeah, it's part of the job.
That's great. You're wonderful. We appreciate you, and we certainly hope that the summer goes well for you and your family.
Thank you.
And we will look forward to talking with you next month.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. Thank you
All
for
right.
having me.
Thank you. That was Mayor Brian Vincent, Farmville Town Mayor, here with us, bringing us some wonderful news. He balanced the budget. They got all of that out of the way, and it's always move forward. Okay. All right. Our time is 8:31, and we do have open lines right now, but we've got to take care of a little bit of business as well. So we'll get to that. Our weather forecast is coming up, and it's brought to you by Harold W. Collins Clearing and Grading, located at 2113 Cumberland Road in Farmville.
Harold W. Collins Clearing and Grading has been helping to build Southside and Central Virginia since 1960, providing all excavation, general contracting, and hauling needs. 5 miles north of Farmville, 2113 Cumberland Road, at the intersection of 45 and Range Tavern Road. Call 392-6010 or stop by Harold W. Collins Clearing and Grading.
Your WFLO forecast for Southside and Central Virginia for today. Lots of sunshine, warm temperatures too, a high around 91 degrees. For tonight, mostly cloudy with a low of 68. Tomorrow, we will have partly sunny skies with a 70% chance of some thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. Look for a high of 87 degrees. On Friday night, We go, well, let's say a 50% chance of some thunderstorms and a chance of showers as well, with a low on Friday night of 70 degrees. On Saturday, we'll go from a 20% to a 60% chance of showers. Look for a high of 89 on Saturday night. Showers likely, then a chance of thunderstorms as well, with a low of 69. Sunday, mostly cloudy. Then an 80% chance of showers developing. Look for a high of 87 degrees. And for Sunday night, we'll see 80% chance of showers with a low of 69. And on Monday, we go from a 40% to a 70% chance of showers with a high of 84. So we're not lacking in rainfall, that's for sure. Let's see, we've got our barometer is at 30.12 inches. It's holding steady. We do have 80% humidity. It's kind of tight out there, folks. Our winds are from the west-southwest now, around 5 miles per hour. We did have a low of 63 degrees. Our current temperature outside is 72, but it feels like it's 77 with the added humidity. All right, that's your weather forecast brought to you by Harold W. Collins Clearing and Grading. Give them a call at 434-392-6010. Time is 8:34, and we've got Noah Massage here. And what are you doing over there, Noah?
Hey, Chris, I'm just sipping my coffee. You know me. Just coffee, get my phone.
Yeah, okay.
Just, getting the day started. So,
Get the day started.
Yeah, that was a really good interview with Brian Vincent. Always glad to have him in.
Thank you.
Very informative.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yes,
he really is,
yeah.
and he cares about this community a lot.
Yeah.
So it was good to have him here. Let's see here. We've got. You ready to tell some people about
I've been studying
birthdays?
them.
Have you been studying
I've
them?
been studying these birthdays like there's no tomorrow. Yes, Chris, I'm ready.
All right. Well, the birthday calendar is brought to you by Creative Electrical Contractors. They're located at 1907 East 3rd Street in Farmville.
Creative Electrical Contractors specializes in commercial and industrial projects and offers quality work at competitive prices. CEC is a licensed Class A contractor in Virginia and North Carolina. Creative Electrical Contractors has been in business for 25 years, still committed to the values that were established when the company opened in 1998. Integrity, quality workmanship, and timely delivery. CEC, located at 1907 East 3rd Street, Farmville. You can contact CEC at 434-392-3802 or at creative-electrical.com.
All right, Noah Massage.
Okey-doke.
That's your cue for giving us a cue into who's celebrating a birthday or an anniversary today.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. Well, starting. Oh, you don't have to. You can bring that. It kind of helps me
Oh, okay.
focus, so I don't have to focus on me mispronouncing, all these names.
I gotcha.
It's kind of a nice barrier between mispronouncing and fun music, so people don't really notice. Anyways, now the music, it's okay.
Let me start it
Oh,
over
it's
again.
okay. It's okay. All right. Eddie Bowen celebrating today. Also having a birthday, we have Brian Cook. And then 2 anniversaries as well. Robbie and Susan Bowling, and Dana and John Rourke.
Yeah.
Those are the names. And
For today?
Yeah, that's
This
it.
12th day.
Yep, the 12th day of June.
Of
and
June
that's all
already.
we got.
Oh, my
That's
gosh. You
it.
turned around twice and it'll be Christmas time.
I know.
Anyway. All right. Well, tell everybody how they can get those names to us.
All right, they can call in 434-394-0924. You can also email us at birthdays@wflo.net, or you can go on our website under the on-air mentions page and submit birthdays directly from our website like it's magic or something. It's like, we're living in the 21st century.
Yeah.
Can do that now.
Yeah.
And we'll get them.
I know.
It's incredible.
It is.
Chris, back to you. That's all I got.
All right. The birthday calendar brought to you by Creative Electrical Contractors. If it's not right, they'll make it right. Call 434-392-2802. And, of course, we want to wish everybody out there celebrating We hope they have a fantastic day
Yeah,
today.
eat lots of cake.
Speaking of cake.
Speaking of cake,
Yes.
wasn't that a nice transition or what?
Oh, that was a wonderful transition.
Thank you, Chris.
Yes, first time caller.
Yeah, dropped off some cake
Oh,
for
yeah,
us.
actually, it was more like cheesecake.
I
It was
think so. It was
chocolatey
very.
and good.
Yeah, the chocolate was so amazingly strong and.
But it was light.
Yeah, it was light at the same time.
After I
Yeah.
finished up my shift here, I took it in there and I told Sean.
Mm-hmm.
Sean was in there and I told Sean, now I'm not going to eat but just one bite,
Mm-hmm.
because it looks like it's really rich. So I took one bite, and of course he also put some Cool Whip in there for us to put on
I think that
top.
was homemade. He
You
said.
think so?
I'm pretty sure he said that. Yeah, when he
Was
dropped
homemade?
it, homemade
Oh.
whipped cream. So
Sorry.
from start to
Sorry,
finish.
sorry.
Nah, don't
Okay.
don't insult the man by saying Cool Whip, Chris. Come on.
There's nothing wrong with
No,
Cool
I know.
Whip.
There's nothing wrong with Cool
Yeah,
Whip's great.
But anyway.
Yeah.
Well, it was fantastic, and
It
I
was
ate all
really
of it.
good. Yeah. Yeah.
I ate every single solitary.
Pretty
In fact,
much-
I licked the spoon
Wow.
clean.
Pretty much my story as well. I was like, I'm just gonna have a bite. I'm not super hungry,
Mm-hmm.
but I made the room, and plus it was the perfect. I love perfect portions. I love perfect portions.
Yeah,
you know
it
what
was
I
a
mean?
very nice
I don't
portion.
like when something's a little bit too much, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
then you leave stuff and you waste food. This was a I don't know if he's using new technology to cut these slices of pie or cake, but it was literally I ate every single bite, and I was like, that's exactly when I wanted to stop. It
Mm-hmm.
It was so perfect, and like you said, it was rich. I mean, it was very flavorful, and great, just a
And
delicious.
I
slice of-
didn't even have supper
Yeah.
last night. It was
Wow,
so good.
really?
Yeah.
Wow,
That was it.
amazing.
Yeah, just got me through all
Yeah.
that chocolate and energy and caffeine and.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good
Keeps
stuff.
you going.
Yeah, it does indeed. Keeps me going.
All right. We do have open lines again, 434-394-0924.
You know, Chris, I just realized I blocked the one line. If you can just click
Oh.
the.
You did, didn't
Yes,
you?
I did
Oh,
indeed.
got that.
I
Okay.
but I couldn't tell you because you were interviewing Brian. So
Oh,
you know.
okay.
Yeah, but now
now the
phone
lines are
are
open.
open. Yes, wide open.
Yeah, you almost made a,
Well, an oopsie.
oopsie.
is what they call it.
Yeah, I had an oopsie yesterday.
You did really? What
Yeah,
happened?
well, it's happened to me twice. I get going and I forget to turn my mic back on when I'm doing the community calendar stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That happened,
yeah.
and I apologize for that because
Yeah.
it was my bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I will try my darndest not to let it happen again.
Those things happen.
I know.
Those things happen.
Okay, we'll take this call. Good morning. You're on the Call Flo Show.
Well, good morning to you.
Hi, Henry. How are you?
Okay. Today is kind of a tough day, though. 2 years ago today, my wife Joyce passed away.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. She was such a fine
Yes.
lady. She took good care of you.
Yeah, it's a little bit tough.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, that was after 61 years of marriage.
Yeah.
But I'd like to tell you a couple of stories.
Absolutely.
One of them was yesterday after Call Flo. I got a phone call from former Prince Edward County Sheriff Gene Southall.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said that back when he was in office and they needed to transport a juvenile to the juvenile detention center near Richmond, they had a deputy. He had a deputy. His name was Reverend Earl Wallace. So he would use Reverend Earl to haul those juveniles to the juvenile center. And on the way, Reverend Earl would try to minister to them as led. He would stop and buy them an ice cream cone or whatever and talk to them. Now, those of you that know Reverend Earl, he's never early for anything.
He won't be early for his. Oh, never mind.
And is usually at the last moment to arrive. When he used to be on morning devotions at 8:45, he would get in at 16 minutes to 9. you know, I mean,
Yes, we know very well.
anyway, he's always been a pretty fast driver, as I said, and he was a deputy. And I talked to Gene Southall yesterday, and Gene was telling me a story about Earl, that he used Earl to carry the youngsters, you know, to the detention center, and Earl would talk to them. And there was one youngster, that got his life straight after Reverend Earl took him to the detention center. He came out of there and turned out to be a model citizen. So later on, Sheriff Gene Southall asked the youngster what Reverend Wallace said that made him change so much. And the youngster's answer was, it wasn't so much what he said, but his driving was so wild, I didn't ever want to have to ride with him again.
Made him thankful to be alive, right?
Yeah. So that was his. Now, Gene didn't tell me the youngster's name, but he gave me the story about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I want to tell you another little brief thing. There was an old gentleman named Wirt Garrett who lived alone in a government apartment at New Canton, Virginia.
Francis knew Wirt very well.
Yeah, and he was blind.
Yes, we went to visit him one time.
Yeah. His family members all lived in New Jersey. Every Saturday night, I had an all bluegrass program from 7 to 10 p.m., and I would record it ahead of time. Wirt loved bluegrass.
Mm-hmm.
And every Saturday night, he would call his family in New Jersey, and they would listen on long-distance telephone for 3 hours.
Oh, my
listening
gosh.
to the bluegrass program.
I can imagine what a bill that was.
Yeah, every Saturday night. And I would usually mention Wirt's name on the program, and I even got a call from his family in New Jersey and thanked me for remembering Wirt on the radio. And I just, that's a special moment.
Yes, it is. He was a very special guy.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, in some little jokes, I did a little more serious stuff today.
Mm-hmm. That's all right.
But if anybody'd like to talk to me, my number is 414-0096. And I appreciate you calling.
Well, I know that this is a special day for you, Henry, and I know that you'll have lots of memories, wonderful memories of Joyce. And, yeah, I know how you're feeling.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Thank you so much.
All right. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Good old Henry.
Yeah, good old Henry.
Yeah, it's kind of a day for him to reflect.
Yeah.
And, of course, you reflect every day, but it's a special day when it's the day.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay, I've got that day coming up. Mm-hmm. All right, it's 8:46. We have open lines at 434-394-0924. That's the number to call for the Call Flo radio show. All right, let's see here. We've got some famous birthdays coming up for you.
Well, before we get into that, Chris, I got to ask you, do you have any plans for the weekend? Any big plans?
No, not really. Not this weekend.
But next weekend.
Camden is going to come over and set the posts for the deck.
Incredible.
We're going to have a connecting deck that goes around from the huge front deck to the huge back deck.
Yeah,
right. And so he's going to set some poles there. But I have a flooding issue in my basement.
You told me that yesterday.
And I actually think it's a gutter problem that I have on the back of the house. So he's going to replace the gutters that have big dents in them from some tree limbs. Yes. And so hopefully that will eliminate the problem.
How much flooding was in your basement? Like, how many?
Well, it wasn't fully flooded.
Sure,
It was
just
just
like
from the
some-
back,
okay.
at the back door, and I'm thinking that's where the problem is.
Yeah.
But we will see. But I was sweeping out water and taking my shop back and vacuuming up all.
Yeah,
it was, you know,
You
it
have
was
to.
not fun.
Yeah.
I did ruin a box of books, for instance.
Oh, that's not
well,
good.
half of a box anyway,
Yeah.
because that was the only box that was not on a pallet.
Ah, gotcha.
So
Yeah. Storms will.
yeah.
That, you know, I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but this past storm that we had, me and Katie were. I think it was Sunday night, and we had some pretty heavy rain. And me and Katie were on the couch just like watching some Frasier. Great show, by the way.
Yes, it is.
And you know, we were watching Frasier, and our cat Jeff is like in the corner, in like the kind of like the close next to the washer and dryer, which is like behind us. And like we see him, we kind of turn around, he's like doing something over there. We can't really tell what, so we turn the lights on, walk over there, and we're like, Jeff, what is your problem? It turns out there was water leaking from our ceiling down the wall. It wasn't just like dripping into the, you know, but it was like leaking from the wall. And yeah, so anyways, we had to move some furniture out of the way because it was kind of getting on the furniture, like some real nice vintage pieces of we had an old bookshelf that's really cool.
Yeah.
So we had to move that, and it was like 10:20 at night, and that's what you want to be doing at 10:20. You
Oh,
want to
well,
be
yeah,
moving
sure.
you know, a bookshelf that weighs like, you know, I don't know, 80 pounds and shifting it over a little bit.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, I mean, storms will.
I know.
will
I
mess
had
things
1.5
up.
inches of rain.
Yeah, wow.
And, you know, I use a dehumidifier in my basement, and I've been emptying it once or twice a day, you know,
Wow,
full. And so I knew that there was not any water in the basement at the time. On Saturday,
Yeah.
you know, there wasn't water there. But Sunday when we had the rain, I guess it was just, it may have been at night or whatever, but it was like 1.5 inches. I
Interesting.
went down there Monday and, whew, surprise.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. You know, I think WFLO should have like a weather chaser, like somebody who chases storms.
wouldn't that be cool?
Kristen, you love storms, don't you?
I love the thought of storms, but I don't like to really be in the storms.
Sure.
But you know,
I'll volunteer myself for that job. But
well,
yeah.
yeah, you know, we'd be a team.
Yeah, I think so. I really do. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that would be a good duo, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you're
think
the more
so.
sensible one. It's like, we got to get out of here now. I'm like running
yeah.
towards the storm.
Yeah.
That's like, yeah.
It's
Storms are exciting, man. I love a good storm.
well,
You know.
you know, Mother Nature has lots of ways of making herself known.
Yes, she does. Yep.
All right, let's check out some celebrity birthdays while we're waiting for more calls to come in. And
Oh, there we go.
just as I say that,
yeah,
that
we
was
have
a
a
cue.
call. Yeah. Indeed.
Good morning on the Call Flo Show.
Good morning, people.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, fine, thank you. How about you guys?
We were just singing your praises.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Did you hear me sing?
No, we were singing your praises about how well you cook.
Oh, you liked
Or
that.
bake.
Oh, and bake.
maybe.
Yeah, bake. That was it a cheesecake or was it what was it? Was it
It was actually called a flourless chocolate cake.
flourless
So there was,
chocolate cake?
Yes. Uh-huh.
I'd love to have that recipe.
Sure. Yeah. I don't mind. Yeah.
It was absolutely heavenly. It was. It was
Good.
great. Yeah,
I'm
I
glad
was
you
just
enjoyed
going to
it.
eat one piece and I devoured the whole thing.
Oh, you took everybody's?
Everybody's
I
like,
devoured everything.
Yeah.
If I could have, I would have. I wouldn't have been able to sleep for a couple of days. But anyway,
I know. There's chocolate. I know. There's chocolate all over your lips, and you're like, I don't know. What
It was like, do I have chocolate on the, on my lips? It was so good. Thank you so much. We
Good.
appreciate it.
Oh, you're quite welcome.
Yeah.
Yes. What did I? You know, I had a. What happened over the weekend? Let me say it real quick. There was a. They were doing during the horse race. They had usually they play the state anthem, or what would you call it?
Was it the Belmont Stakes?
Yes.
Oh, dang it, I missed it because I was watching tennis.
Oh.
Yeah, I missed it.
So you watched. So the state song is New York, New York. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to find out because New York, New York is a fairly recent song.
Okay.
And I was wondering, it's like, didn't New York have a song that predated probably, what was it written, maybe the 60s?
I don't
Or
know.
70s?
Look that up, Noah.
Sure.
But then I wonder how many people even know the Virginia song. Are you guys familiar with it?
Well,
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't know. I was just curious.
they
Horse racing? Are we doing?
didn't they change it? It was Carry Me Back to Old Virginia or something like that. Wasn't it?
Huh.
You asked me off the top of my head. Now I can't even think of it. I hate it when that happens. But anyway, I do know my old Kentucky home was for, of course, the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure about the state song for Virginia. What is it?
Is it? Let me look it.
What is it? Anyway, we'll find out, and I'm sure I feel like a dummy.
I was just curious if you guys are.
Our
So many people
great
don't
Virginia.
know their state song.
Our Great Virginia.
It has two. Okay, so Virginia is a greedy state, in meaning they have two state songs.
Okay.
So they have Our Great Virginia is one of them, and then another Sweet Virginia Breeze.
Oh, that's Steve Bassett.
Yeah.
And I was looking for that song in our
yes.
playlist, and we don't have it.
Oh, interesting. That's
So we should
should
probably
probably
try to
get
get that
that.
back in because
Yeah.
there are a lot of people around here, Steve Bassett fans.
so. It says the Our Great Virginia is the official traditional state song, but
Mm-hmm.
the Sweet Virginia Breeze is the official popular state song. So it's gonna get two different.
Okay. All right. Well,
So, Chris,
yes.
do you know the words to it? Just for
What? Which one?
I don't know. You choose.
I know.
You-
No, I did not know the
Okay.
lyrics to. Was it Great
Yeah.
Virginia or something? like
Our
that?
Great Virginia.
Yeah, Great Virginia, and it's been a while since I've heard Steve Bassett, but you don't want to hear me even try to talk those
Do you want me to start reading it, Chris, and you take it away?
Yeah.
Maybe if it kind of jogs your memory a little bit.
Sweet Virginia Breeze?
Our Great Virginia,
Our
the
Gra-
traditional one.
Okay, let's go ahead.
I'm really bad at singing, so okay, I'm just gonna try my best. Okay,
Okay.
so it says.
So can you give us an idea as to how it would sound, like the harmony or?
I have no
I
idea.
have no reference.
I don't think I've ever heard it.
Get first line. You'll always be our great Virginia. Second line. You're the birthplace of the nation, where history was changed forever. Today your glory stays as we build tomorrow. Chris, take it away, why don't you?
I don't have any idea.
Okay. I fill with pride at all you give us. Rolling hills, majestic mountains, from Shenandoah to the Atlantic rivers, wide and forests tall, all in one Virginia. I don't know if I'm doing the cadence right.
You
I've
are
never,
doing. You're
I've
doing
never
great.
heard
Go
this
ahead.
song.
I'm gonna start
For
crying
each,
here in a minute.
for each of us here in Virginia, from farm to city dweller, all of us, we stand together. We're yours. We all are yours. Across our great Virginia, you'll always be our great Virginia. That's it. That's it. That's
Okay.
it. I really butchered that song, by the way. I want to apologize to the listeners. I want to apologize to you, Chris, who's in the studio with me right now.
No apology.
I'm
no
really
apology
bad
here.
at singing. I don't sing. I
Well,
used to
I don't
lip
sing
sync.
either.
I used to lip sync at
All the
church.
singing talent went to my daughter, Laura.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
At least it went somewhere. Yeah.
It was somewhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, that was very interesting. You brought up a very interesting subject there, and I'm surprised that they didn't play New York there. But like I said, I didn't watch it.
and at the Belmont they did.
Yeah.
But I thought maybe there would have been something that even predated, even back into the 1800s.
Oh, I understand. I see.
Or
I don't
early
know.
19, yeah.
I don't know.
I didn't know that was, did like no song exist until New York, New York?
Don't know.
That kind of curiosity.
Well, I'm glad you have that kind of curiosity.
Oh my gosh.
Well, do
But
you
I
know
have
who
a,
won? Do you know which horse won the way? Yeah, right. Won the race.
It was. Shoot. It escapes me. Did the one that was he the one that won the Kentucky?
What, the Preakness or?
No, because he didn't. One of them didn't enter in the Preakness. The one that won the Kentucky Derby.
Oh,
I don't know if
journalism
he
was
saving them
one.
for the, yeah.
And
But no.
well, short-term memory as far as I'm concerned, I can't remember.
Oh,
But anyway,
it would be false information. Fact checking me. He's a liar.
no. Let's
But
see.
here's a
Go ahead.
scenario. Mm-hmm. Do I have a minute or two?
You have
2 minutes.
exactly a minute.
Okay. Well, maybe I can squeeze it in. There was a lady on a commercial that took a bath. Okay, and now somebody drained her bath water and they're selling it. They must have incorporated it into soap. And I guess at one time they were selling it for like $50 a bar. Now it's up to, I think it's well over $700. Wow. They're paying for just a spritz of bath water from this person you see on television taking a bath.
Wow, incredible.
Did you guys hear about that?
That had more of an increase than my stocks.
Oh,
Amazing.
So maybe as a fundraiser, you could do have a picture of all you guys in a bathtub.
Yeah.
Oh, you would want
sell
want
water.
to do that.
Yep. Yeah, that would be a nightmare. Yeah. Wow. Well, you know, it's kind of like the Beanie Babies thing. You know why? I mean, it's just a Beanie Baby. Why are some so expensive? I mean, back then, collectible. What makes something important? What it's that whole what is it drive in the market that they do from feels like rarity yada yada. I'm not a stock guy. I'm not a financial guy. I have no idea.
Wow.
But anyways, yeah.
That's all right. Oh, we're running
It's weird.
late.
We got to go.
Sovereignty won the Preakness.
Ah.
That was one of, I think, Bill Baffer's horses.
Okay.
Yeah. So
All right.
Sovereignty. And then journalism, and then I'm not sure about, I can't remember the Kentucky Derby winner. But anyway, we got to go. We'll
Okay.
look that up and find out tomorrow. All right?
All right.
Take care. Have
Thank
a good
you for
day.
your time.
Okay, bye-bye.
Mhm.
All right.
Bye.